What I need you to know is that the world needs you. But there's a section of the world that so desperately needs to hear from you that you cannot actually afford to stay quiet. I get it. I understand. I should, in fact, quit my job. What do I do next? Here's what you do. Everything that we talk about here is around corporate culture, but mostly what matters here is how you are being treated inside of the environment where you spend the majority of your time. Your time, your talent, your energy, your value, your calling, your message, and your methods, your innovation, your intuition, your authenticity, all of that is going to the place where you are spending your job. Are they worth it? Do they treat you like you're worth it? Do they treat you like you're valuable? I don't know. Maybe they do, but mostly they don't. And I know that because for years I've coached people who are coming out of corporate trauma. They have been mishandled, dropped, and in essence, now have to figure out who they are in a post-corporate environment. So today I want to talk about this, right? Like, let's suppose that you've listened to enough of these podcast episodes, or that you've gone to my website, theshaunak.com, you've taken the quiz, you have downloaded the worksheet, you've done some stuff, right, at this point. And now you're like, you know what? I get it. I understand. I should, in fact, quit my job. What do I do next? Because everybody asks that. I have been on this tirade about people quitting their jobs for years because it is painful for me to watch people who have so much value and so much brightness dull themselves down to the point where they're barely recognizable, that they are shells of themselves, where they are trying to fit in environments. And the only time that you have any time to feel like yourself is when you're on vacation or when you are, after work, happy hour with your friends. Oh, whew, I can really be myself now. Whew. Listen, it's not that your work days won't be difficult. No matter what you do, you could have your dream job. You're going to have some difficult days. This show is not designed to try to convince you that life is going to be perfect. And if you have the right job, your life is going to be perfect. That's not what the show's designed for. But it is designed to give you a realistic picture that most people think is fantasy. You do deserve to love your life, and you deserve to work in an environment that feeds you and does not take from you. And that's the big problem. The big problem is that we operate from this premise that the job is meant to suck it all out of you, and you're not meant to have anything left for the rest of your life. Forget that. That's what the weekend's for. These 2 days a week, you are delivering 80% of your life to your job. I need you to let that sink in. 80% of your life is going to your job. And so you, your family, your goals, your vision, your picture of success, your faith, it gets what's left. And you don't deserve that. So imagine you have a job that actually feeds you. Yes. Do you have to work? Sure. But working in alignment is something totally different. So none of that is the point. We've done another episode on alignment and burnout and all the things. So go watch more of those episodes. Today, what we're talking about is if you get to the point where you are like, yes, you know what, Shauna? Absolutely. I should quit my job. I get it. I believe it. But I'm ready. So I want to talk about what you do after you quit. Now, legal disclaimer. Do not go quit your job tomorrow and send me your mortgage. Yeah, I don't want it. Don't send me your bills. All right? Now, here's what you do. You really have 3 options. And I want to talk through them ad nauseum. Listen, go grab a pen and paper, get a cup of coffee, glass of wine, whatever you do with your life. Let's sit down and talk about this. When you get to the point where you're like, I'm super clear that I need to quit my job. It is draining me. I'm burnt out. I am exhausted. They don't value me. I have been doing this too long. Something's just not right. Any of those things. When you get to that point, I know for me, it wasn't as clear as I am being mishandled. Nobody mishandled me in my corporate situation. Not one person, right? It was more, this just isn't right. And so for some of you, I just want to validate that feeling in you right now. If you are having that sensing, this just isn't right, that is valid. And we're going to get to that because there's a pathway out for the people that are feeling that way. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is and how it works. Yeah? Okay. So there's 3 options. The first option is you can quit your job and you can go to another company. Now, this requires that you assess whether or not you are currently operating in the career trajectory that feels most aligned with who you are right now. One very important question to ask yourself here, and there's another episode about this if you want to go into more detail about it, but one of the questions you've got to ask yourself here is you have to challenge the premise under which you took the career path in the first place. It's one thing to have taken a job with a company that's in a certain domain and they have an industry that they're in. It's something else to challenge the career path altogether. That is subject matter level. right? So did you get the air quotes right degree, right? Did you take the right classes in high school? Or were you trying to win? Were you trying to excel? There's an inherent level of competition that goes along with being in like high school, right? So a lot of times we pick the career path in high school because we have to know exactly what we're doing going into college or directly into the workforce. So we pick the path at 16, 17, 18 years old, or somebody picks it for us. So you have to challenge the premise under which you took the career path in the first place. Was I only competing? Was I following in somebody else's footsteps? Did somebody else deliver me this dream and I just picked it up because I was a teenager and that's what you do at teenage years, right? One of the things I talk about a lot is for myself, when it came to college, we didn't discuss that. It wasn't like an option. We literally just went to school. Everybody went to college. There was no, oh, should I go to college or not? Is that what's best for me or not? And so for a lot of you, that will be the case. You excelled up the trajectory of your career and your field because your 17-year-old self decided that was it. So the question is, do you still like it? Do you still like being a scientist? Do you still like being an IT person? Do you still like being what we used to call ourselves the engineers? I have an electrical engineering degree. It's back there from the great Morgan State University. But do you still like being an engineer? Do you still like it? Do you still like biology or botany? The subject matter itself, does it still light you up? You couldn't pay me enough to go be an engineer right now. I had to code something for a client the other day. I was devastated. HTM, who? No. No, there's just, you could not pay me enough to go back and do that, right? So subject matter level wasn't the right subject matter for moi. Talented in it. So let's add that distinction in this first consideration as well. Being talented in the subject matter doesn't necessarily mean it's exciting for you or that it lights you up or that it's interesting. Being good at something doesn't mean that you should do it. It does not make it your most and best life. It doesn't make it your most authentic version of yourself. It just means it's something you can do, right? I can design websites. You know why? Because my first business was a graphic design company. So I taught myself how to design websites. It drives me crazy to design websites. I'm not called to that. That's not my calling. That's not my purpose. That's not the thing that I'm meant to do. So doing it for me, subject matter wise, I know how to do it. Pretty good at it. Made a few dollars doing it. But that subject matter doesn't light me up. You know what subject matter lights me up? The Global Happiness Study. Oh my gosh. There's a study that somebody has conducted to track human happiness. Lights me up. Love that, right? Does that still work for you? Does that still matter to you, right? So that's thing number one. You can change companies if, after challenging the premise under which you picked the career path altogether, you're like, no, this is still my field. This is still a space where I feel like I have a lot to contribute and a lot to give. And I feel like, I have innovation that I want to contribute. I am now just identifying I'm in the wrong company. When I was about to quit my corporate job, I had not identified that the subject matter was, this is why I can tell you this because I didn't know back then. I didn't identify that the subject matter was part of the challenge, right? I did not get to the space where I thought about, man, what did I really want to be before influence, before the camps, before I felt like I didn't have a choice anymore, like before I was already accepted to all the engineering programs on the East Coast, what did I want to be before? Because realistically, this is no joke. Before all of that influence, I wanted to be a guidance counselor. No lie. I remember this moment. I was in the hallway at Baltimore Polytechnic Institute where I finished my high school career. Amen. I was standing there in the hallway and I just remember going, man, I think I would like to help people identify what they want to do with their lives. And so at the time, it came out as guidance counselor, right? But help people identify what they want to do for work. It was a very work alignment related thing. But when I was at the point of about to quit my corporate job and all I had was, man, something's just not right. I didn't have all this language. So I was trying to solve the problem in front of me, right? So, and a lot of us do this. So as you're kind of pulling together your tools and resources to challenge the premise under which you pick the career path, I just want to give you this context so that you have a deeper way to do that. What was dead center in front of me was a long commute and a quiet office. Now, the quiet office was really not as big of a problem. I'm an introvert, so not like a huge deal. But my biggest challenge at the moment, I was like, man, I think I'm just exhausted because I have this long commute. So here's what I decided to do. Okay, I'll eliminate the problem that I see. The commute. Got it. Let me move that. Move the commute. Transfer to offices. Kind of the same as changing companies, right? So I transferred offices entirely, thinking the subject matter was still solid. It's my company had multiple branches all over. Easily. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna change branches. Changed branches. Nothing changed. And that is when I knew I had to quit. So I'm saying that to you to say, try to, as you are considering whether or not it's time to move companies, because your subject matter, your career choice is still valid, right? Because you've challenged it. You're like, man, I don't, if I went back before the influence, what would I leave on the table that I would have negated before, because I now have influence and I feel stuck, like I'm in the career path that I'm in. And after a certain amount of time in a career, you're like, well, I'm in it now. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this till I retire, right? So challenge that though. Even the stability of 10 years, 20 years in the same career, challenge that, right? What did I want to be before this? Is that valid? Is that more valid to me than what I have been doing, even though I've been doing it a long time? And just see where it cracks. Pressure test that joint and see where it cracks. Because if it cracks, then it's time for you to get super playful and rediscover. So I'm gonna get to that next. So first thing is it time to switch companies? Company switch only if your career choice, the subject matter that you have pursued, is still valid for you as you are right now. Please hear me when I tell you this. I know plenty of successful people who were hairdressers and decided to open lounges instead because hairdressing wasn't it anymore. You have permission. You don't need my permission, but I'm going to give it to you anyway, verbally. You have permission. And as a matter of fact, I encourage it. I encourage the trial and error that comes from living in this human experience. You get to go explore and live your life. You only got the one. So let's talk about the second part. So path number one, you can change companies if your subject matter still remains. The second thing is you can change careers all together. So if you do that first pressure test and you realize, oh snap, I'm not a botanist anymore. I've done botany my whole life. I took botany when I was in third grade, from third grade till PhD. I was a PhD in botany. I hate botany now. Not hate, but it's not lighting me up anymore. Then you have permission to completely change the direction of your career. Now, here's where I want to just put this in. If you are going to completely change the subject matter of your work, this could be going from corporate to influencer. This could be going from therapist to consultant. This could be going from engineer to coach. If you're changing the subject matter of what you're going to do for work, this subject matter must be in alignment with your lifestyle design. So the second option, while it is about shifting careers altogether, it's really more about you redesigning your life. Because what is your life without this thing that you thought you were? Like, what's the first question that you ask somebody or that somebody asks you when you meet them? Hey, what do you, right? What do you do? It's the most asked question in new encounters because people think that if I know what you do, I now know more about you. It's not true in most cases, right? Except for now, when people ask me, well, what do you do? I say, I run a lifestyle design company. Opens conversation. It's really great. I love it a lot. But if you're going to change the subject matter of the work that you do, then it's got to be in alignment with your lifestyle design. So the second option, if you're not changing companies, then you're changing your lifestyle design. So now you get to ask yourself these really big questions. And when I say really big, I mean expansive in possibility, not weighty and heavy. From the most childlike dream state, ask yourself this question. What do I want? Because when was the last time you asked yourself, seriously, what do I want? How do I want to live? What do I want to experience every day? If I were going to financially free, what would I do every day? There's another video on my YouTube channel that we'll link below that asks you the most important question when you're thinking about redesigning your life. If I had $20 million in the bank, and $20 million, to be fair, is meant to represent an amount of money that makes you feel financially stable. So for some people, it's 200 million, bless you. But if I had $20 million in the bank, what would I do every day? Not bills would I pay off, but what would I do every day? So if you need support, asking yourself this question about how would my life look if the job that I have right now isn't real anymore? And not just that I need to go find another job, but like I have the privilege now to reconsider what I'm curious about, to put things back on the table that I probably put down in favor of being responsible and paying my bills, which is what everybody says when they sacrifice their dreams on the altar. There's an altar called responsibility where dreams go to die. And I'm encouraging you, if you determine that that subject matter that's at the base of your career, no matter how long your career has been, if that subject matter is no longer calling to you, then I am encouraging you to put the stuff that you sacrificed on the altar of responsibility, put it back on the table. If I only had one more thing to say about this particular pathway forward after you quit a job, it's that the Montessori childlike discovery that's available to you is actually endless. I want to encourage you to utilize social media in a way to start exploring things again as well. If you are an Instagram person or a TikTok person, doesn't matter what, where you go to get your inspiration, but find someone or a combination of someone's who are doing things that you think are interesting. Oh, this person does this thing. Oh, that's interesting. This is not a comparison game. This is to expand your mind and your thought process because you don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean? So you put everything back on the table and that's great. And that gives you childlike exploration, which I love that. And also give yourself something to reinforce that. So if somebody is posting content, traveling all around the world, and that inspires you, then follow them. Follow them for that inspiration, not comparison, but that inspiration, because that could be your life. There's nothing new under the sun. And so if somebody else is doing it, it's not meant for you to compare yourself to them or feel behind or any of those things. It's just for you to know that it is also possible for you. For those of you who discover that your career subject matter is no longer what is serving you or feeding you, I just want to give you a special moment here. I'm very excited for you. This redesigning of your life is in fact the best and brightest thing that's going to be hopeful and life-giving and renewing for you. It's going to change everything for you. And I hope that you will give yourself the opportunity to feel that. So if that is you and you are feeling like you are ready to quit your job and the subject matter that you have been pursuing as your career no longer fits, and so this idea of redesigning your life is feeling really appealing to you, I want to invite you into the Change Everything community and coaching, where we're discussing that. We're working through, what does your life plan look like? What does it look like for you to reimagine how you work, how you play, how you travel, how you are on a day-to-day basis, so that you are actually living a life that is authentically aligned to who you are now, not who you have been, not who you wished you had been, but who you are right now, so that the version of your future that you get to see is big, bold, bright, courageous, and awesome, just like you are. So now let's talk about this third thing, this third kind of track, right? So first track is I've analyzed my thing, and yes, the subject matter of what I've been doing for work, totally valid still, not a problem, just need a new company. Super easy. We talked plenty about corporate culture, so you know what to go look for inside of a company when you make that move. Second version is challenge the subject matter that my career is based on, determine, no longer lighting me up, no longer feeding my soul, no longer working for me. I need to now redesign my life so that the work that I am doing, whatever that subject matter is, it will then fit. Because imagine changing your whole career and you just box yourself back in. Sidebar, I did that. Totally did that. Before I get to the third point, when I left my corporate job, I went and I started this graphic design company. I ended up starting a graphic design company. I won't say it was a straight path to get there either, but I ended up starting this graphic design company. And one day I looked up and realized I had boxed myself right back into the same circumstance. Because I did not consider lifestyle design, because again, back then I didn't have words for this. I was just kind of shucking and jiving my way through, figuring it out on my own. And I didn't have a plan for my life. I was trying to solve what was right in front of me. Make money. Cool. Learn these skills. Build a graphic design company. I looked up and realized I was working 20-hour days. I was working harder trying to make this graphic design company work than I was working in my corporate job. So I transferred offices trying to get less of a commute. Meanwhile, I built myself a business where I ended up with tennis elbow, carpal tunnel, super tension in my neck. I was not taking good care of myself. Like I was barely eating because I was so stressed out. Like I built this box where my life suffered. So even if you are going to change your career path altogether, the subject matter of what it is that you are doing, lifestyle design, redesigning your life first is a requirement so that you know what you want. You know where you want to work. You know how you want to work. You know what is a priority for you in your health and your well-being, in your family and your relationships. You know all those things going in so you don't accidentally build something that's just a duplicate box in a different scenario. That was my parenthetical thought. So let's talk about the third track. So the third track looks kind of like this. Oh, I am challenging the career and I'm challenging the place, the company. Once I challenge the subject matter of the career, I know whether or not I need to throw that out. The third track looks like, yeah, maybe the subject matter is fine. This is what it sounds like. Maybe the company's fine. Nothing's really wrong with either thing. Here comes. But something's not quite right. Something's off. Something just, I don't know. It's nagging at me. It's been bugging me. Can't put my finger on it. It's not as clear as the company. Nobody's treating me bad. For you, whose narrative this is, now that you're hearing these questions. For you who has ruled out options 1 and 2. For you who has no way to really quantifiably describe what it is about where you work, how you work, or what you work on, you are ignoring your calling. Your calling is calling to you. And for some of you, maybe you've tried like side businesses and you tried to start like entrepreneurial endeavors. You've taken a course or enrolled in somebody's, online webinar to start a business, and you don't really have time because you're spending all your time, exhausting yourself out of alignment. Now, you could be working inside the area of your calling. That's possible. But I assume then you wouldn't have gotten this far in the episode. So if you're still here, and this is kind of what's been ringing in your mind, then I want to say to you directly, I was you. I wasn't ignoring my calling, but I was just getting to understand that I had one. So when I transferred offices and the pay was great, nobody was bothering me, nothing was wrong, but something was still wrong. Your calling. It's your calling. Your calling is calling to you from the inside. It's making noise. You're uncomfortable in your office chair because your calling is calling you. Something is asking you to exit the space of stability and comfort and to go build something. And for those of you who this is true for, this would feel more like a confirmation than news, right? And again, legal disclaimer, don't go quit your job and send me your bills. I'm not doing it. If you are feeling your calling tugging at you from the inside, the more you try to divert your calling, the more you're diverting your true, authentic life. There's a version of your life person that's ignoring their calling that you deserve to have that you won't have until you go down this pathway. For those of you who are feeling like, man, she's pulling my card on this, I am ignoring my calling. I have been ignoring that small voice on the inside of me that has been talking to me and saying, oh, I need you to start this business. Yeah, but I can't quit my job. That's crazy. And there's nothing wrong here, so I'm not going to quit my job. That's crazy. Maybe one, or yeah, I'll get to it one day. When my kids get older, I need you to quit your job. I need you to build this thing. I need you to write this book. There are an ocean of possibilities of what it could be for you to do. What I need you to know is that the world needs you. Not the whole big world, but there's a section of the world that so desperately needs to hear from you that you cannot actually afford to stay quiet. And it's not that you don't get a direct benefit. You will. Like, you'll 100% benefit from this. But until you pick up your piece of the net of humanity, because for you who is called to build something, to say something, to grow something, to pursue something, there's a piece of the net for you to carry. It's not the company piece of the net. It's the human part of the net. There's a piece of humanity that needs your hand, your voice, your touch, your action so much that they actually cannot get out of or into what it is that they need to get out of or into until you start. So it's urgent. If you are sensing the thing, you're watching this right now and you're like, ooh, it's urgent. It's urgent. It's urgent. And don't trick yourself into thinking that it's not urgent. It's urgent. Also okay, right? I think, humanity is my special interest, right? Honestly, I think that we do such a horrible job at being down on ourselves when we feel like we haven't done something right, that it's easy to talk ourselves out of doing it at all because we feel like we're too late. We haven't done enough. We've done too little. We've done too much. And so we're reliving these moments in our minds and ruminating over these thoughts of guilt and shame when realistically, you've never been human before. You're learning. And the learning process is all that matters. You're growing, and the growing process is all that matters. So if this is you, just know that it's not too late for you to truly answer your calling that is divine. It's divinely assigned. It was assigned to you before you were even born. If you are watching this, and this is the moment where you're saying, man, yes, then you are on your way. And you're on the right path. Hey, thanks for tuning in to the Uncultured podcast. If this episode really resonated with you, I want you to go over to my website, theshawnakay.com. Take this 3-minute quiz that's going to give you clarity about what to do for your next steps. No matter what you decide, the next right step for you is in front of you. It is not behind you. You're not too late and you're not out of step. Everything that you need is going to be right where you need it to be. I'll see you soon.